Cryptocurrency.
Like a couple Bitcoins.
Money, though.
Pull up on my Nakamoto.
Hello. Welcome, everybody, to the Blockchain Dynamics Show.
Good afternoon. Hope you had a nice week.
My name is Brandon Doach.
And I am Woody.
We're here, we're chilling. It is Sunday, September 10th, 2017.
Yes, it is. And it is also episode number 78 today.
78. It's a large number.
Not bad.
That theme song is by Grammatic. Check them out. It's Epigram. Is that the album?
Epigram's the album.
Sweet. Check that out. It's good stuff.
They've been accepting Bitcoin for their music for a long time.
Way ahead of the game. We are brought to y'all this week by Cryptopia. That's cryptopia.co.nz. You're going to want to check them out. They're your one-stop crypto shop. Got an exchange, bunch of other features, forums, custom security, custom 2FA.
Yep. They've really got it all over there. And if you swing by the forums, it's a great way to get in contact with us. And we can sometimes tip you dot or take your suggestions onto the show.
Yep, we love when people stop by and give us suggestions or point out news or general happenings in crypto for us. Always love that. So please stop by the Cryptopia forums. Just a great place to hang out. We'll give you some dots. Dots, of course, are like the native coin of Cryptopia. So you want to buy an exchange listing or many other services on Cryptopia, you're going to be paying in dot.
That's right.
We love dots here on the show.
Yep.
Big fans.
Yep. In fact, we like to give them away.
It's true.
And last week somebody won our 40,000 dot jackpot.
That's just a lot of dots.
They were able to sleuth out the answer to the question, what is the name of the coin that has the lowest coin market cap on Cryptopia that is not traded against Bitcoin?
It's a sweet question, man. I'm surprised they got it.
The answer was Vapors Coin.
Congratulations to you, sir.
I have no idea. Haven't checked in a while. But, yeah, nice work on that. So we'll be doing another giveaway today. We reset the jackpot to 10,000 dot, and the question will reflect that. I think it's a little bit easier.
It's true. Yep. Alrighty, we're going to kick off the show this week with a little bit of that news. Love the news here on Blockchain Dynamics. Number one, first news item this week. We got this, there was a nice little bit this week about China closing their Bitcoin exchanges. Did you catch wind of this?
Of course, yeah. A little bit of sort of what became sort of, I suppose, unsubstantiated news coming out about basically China completely banning Bitcoin trading. I think the reality was closer to them shutting down maybe one particular exchange, and then, we also talked about the ICO crackdown last week.
Right. It's funny. It's like this China news thing is just like a switch that people can go to now if they want to crash the market. It's like, China banning something, price crashes.
Yeah.
$500 or whatever. It's hilarious.
Yeah. It's interesting, too, at the same time as some of this news about China, I've been noticing, other countries having positive news. Like Korea, South Korea is having really positive news, Japan and Russia.
Right.
So.
Yeah, that's all true. And one of the things that we're seeing is each of these announcements is less impactful than the one that came before in terms of how it's affecting the market. Back in January, these announcements were having a huge effect on the price. They're still, obviously they still pack some punch to them in terms of how they're affecting the market, but it seems like it's less and less each time, and that just reflects that the market's a lot more globalized than it was before.
Well, all of our interactions probably change with the market as we grow or change, whatever. Everything's changing all the time. But
yep.
Do you feel a little less concerned when you hear that China's banning Bitcoin now?
Yeah, totally, because for a couple of reasons. In addition to what I said before about just the fact that the volume is a lot more distributed globally now than it was before. You also have the situation where these announcements are often... the rumor and the announcement tend to be a lot more severe than what the outcome is. So the regulator will come out and say something really harsh, and then 2 weeks later a clarification comes out that just says, oh, by the way, you can do this. You just have to jump through some hoop or two or whatever.
Yeah, I noticed that. I think that might almost be partially a misunderstanding of differences in the ways that maybe governments operate, for me at least, in the sense
Right.
that I sometimes feel like China's really able to quickly ban things and then unban them, whereas that's not exactly the method that our governments take.
Yeah.
Maybe.
And it also seems like there's an effect in the market, too, where it's like when the markets are really kind of coiled up, I guess, like they are now, like super, they've just been going up for so long that there's kind of people looking for an excuse to start a sell-off for whatever reason.
They're looking for that reason, yeah.
Right, exactly.
Absolutely.
So then some news drops out of China, and all the people that were sitting out there looking for a reason to sell off their Bitcoin or short it or whatever all jump into the market at the same time. And then you get these like flash crash type situations.
Does there need to be much better of a reason than how far Bitcoin's gone up in the last year?
Yeah, exactly. Totally. Yep. So it just makes sense for there to be corrections at this scale. And that's, I don't think this correction is anything alarming yet, I guess, in terms of an overall trend change. But
you could see it going lower. You were telling me that earlier as well.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no reason.
No reason you can't see it.
Right, exactly.
I can see it potentially happening.
But that's just the markets. They do what they do. So yeah, another rumor out of China, basically. It didn't really amount to much.
But it makes you think. It kind of just... They're good at dominating
The news.
the news, yeah.
Yep, totally. And I'd like to see, I said this last week, I kind of want to see another big hammer fall, news-wise, that isn't a Chinese-based news, like maybe like if a harsh regulatory guideline came down in Korea or Japan or the U.S., or, one of these big markets.
Yeah.
I'm curious to see how that would affect us now in the modern kind of dynamic. Because, we've seen what the China news is doing. It can have an effect, but...
You can see it affecting the Chinese market faster than the other markets, too, and everyone's
Yep.
trying to, react, essentially.
Yeah, that's totally true. So, yeah, I'd be excited to see like a big exchange failure or something out of the U.S. or some of these other big markets just to see how much it affects the market.
I mean, this seems like a good time to talk about this, even if it maybe falls into the market news as well, but we had seen last week how Coinbase was ahead, had a higher price than Bitfinex.
Yes.
At some points as high as $300 higher, I think, or something like that.
Huge disparity during that first leg down last week.
And then during the week as they were rising back up, they reached pretty much the same equal amount before they started dumping again.
That's true.
And I think at this point Coinbase is leading again by just a little bit, but they were pretty evened out as from last time I was checking.
Yeah, I noticed that as well. I think that kind of stuff is really interesting to show some of the regional differences that are happening in the markets. Obviously it seemed pretty clear last week when that first Chinese announcement about ICOs dropped and there was the big sell-off. It was really clear that that Coinbase, the kind of the higher price that people were paying on GDAX, was helping keeping the overall market from crashing more than it did.
Yeah.
And then this week we saw it kind of Finex catch back up to the U.S. price, the Coinbase price before now they're kind of back to synced up, like you said.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll be curious to see how that dynamic plays out in the future. Is there going to continue to be a trend where the USD markets and the US-based markets are lifting up the other markets, or could it flip around? It could go any other way. And the other thing we're not looking at is what the Japanese and Korean markets and those markets are doing either,
Right.
because it could be that they're having a larger effect that we're not even noticing because we're just not watching them.
True. We know that they're gaining in volume.
That's true.
All right.
So yeah, that's the China news on their Bitcoin exchange shutdown rumors.
We also got a little Ripple news.
Yeah, this is good, man. I like this news this week. We got Ripple versus R3. So Ripple, of course, is the it's a centralized coin that gets a lot of shit, but they've been in the game for a really long time. Obviously has a huge market cap. And then you have R3, which is this kind of a blockchain company that was created by a lot of big banks and stuff. They pooled together to essentially see if there's any way that they could use the technology for their own benefit. So now there's this complaint that R3 has alleged that they have an option to purchase 5 billion ripples at a price of 0.00. It looks like it's 0.8 cents per token.
Yeah, I see. 0.0085 cents per token.
$0.0085.
Dollars. Okay,
So,
yep, I got you.
0.85 cents.
All right, cool.
And they're allowed, allegedly, according to this deal, R3 is allowed to buy 5 billion Ripple at 0.85 cents through September 19. And they never cashed in on this deal. And so now R3 is saying, okay, yeah, we're going to cash in. We want to we want to pick up the Ripple.
I think we're ready for those.
I think we're ready to get those Ripple. And so Ripple's at like 20. It's been trading 20 to 25 cents a pop. So that would be like an instant 30 to 40x for any, if this trade was allowed to go through. And of course, Ripple doesn't want to do it because they know that it would be a disaster. I think they countersued on some basis as well, saying that, you know, for whatever reason, the obligation isn't valid. And I thought this one was just a funny piece of news because it has such a straightforward connection to the market, right? Like,
right.
Can you imagine what... I kind of hope that R3 wins just because of the chaos. Like,
that would be really interesting. It's certainly unprecedented. Too.
Yeah, exactly. What would be just such an insane transfer of wealth that would happen so quickly. So that's out there. It'll be interesting to see how that one plays out. That's Ripple versus R3 in court.
Okay. Another little bit of news related to the Monero hard fork.
That's right. A little bit of altcoin news. Monero had a hard fork coming up. The purpose of this fork is to enforce the use of one of the anonymity features. So I guess most people are using it already. That just makes it required. It's one of the ring signature type features. They were expecting that this would go down on September 21, but because of the essentially there's been an increase in the hash rate, which is causing people to catch blocks more quickly. That is causing the block that the fork will occur has now been bumped up to, they're guessing, September 16.
Interesting. Okay. A lot of interest in mining coming around. I've been getting a little bit of mining jelly in my bones myself.
Yeah, I feel it too. I'm not great at predicting mining trends. I always feel like I'm too late, and it turns out that historically, at basically no point I ever would have, but at this point, it's hard to believe that mining... It's always been hard for me to believe that mining could continue to grow the way it has.
Well, the new like X11 ASICs and stuff are incredibly powerful.
Yeah, some of that stuff is so cool.
Yeah.
That's sweet. So yeah, I feel you too, man. I'm definitely have been feeling the interest in doing some mining lately, but I haven't been able to pull the trigger on anything new. The last rig I built was last year, and that Ethereum rig I built.
It was actually like almost exactly a year ago. I was looking at the show notes.
I know. I mean, obviously that worked out great, but... So let's see here. We're talking about Monero. Monero's got that hard fork coming up a little sooner than you'd expect to enforce their ring signature feature.
They're usually pretty organized as far as getting that announcement out to everybody that needs it, it seems like.
Yeah, they have good penetration into the altcoin news infosphere.
Cool.
Alrighty, that is going to wrap it up for the news this week. As always, let us know if there's anything you want us to cover. Hit us up in the Cryptopia thread or Twitter or whatever.
Yep.
Next, we're going to jump into the markets.
Yeah, we love taking a look at those markets.
Got to have markets, man. Got to see what's going on with markets.
We've been really interested in the big markets like Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Litecoin lately.
Yeah, it's weird. I used to spend a lot of time trading just in the weeds on altcoins and stuff. And lately, I do find myself spending more time looking at, Bitcoin USD, ETH-USD. But
even beyond that, we've also become more aware of the correlation between Bitcoin's movements and the altcoin movements.
Yeah, it's funny.
And how it changes over time, too, actually.
Totally. When I first got into trading, it was the start of the big Bitcoin bear run in 2014. I never really considered how Bitcoin was affecting the value of my alts. I was mostly just trading to get Bitcoin.
Right.
Which I think is probably a good strategy if you're starting out with a smaller balance.
Yeah.
Just worry about Bitcoin. And yeah, I never really thought about it. And now it's kind of that we've been doing this for a while. And especially since we've been tracking these numbers specifically. Right. It's become really clear to us how the prices of the larger markets influence the downstream markets in a large way. Yep. Just the macro scale numbers, Yeah. So even though you'll have pumps and, crashes within individual markets, you'll still tend to see like an overall effect of the trend. The pumps will be smaller, the crashes will be bigger.
Definitely.
Or vice versa. So yeah, good stuff. So the question is, what was the trend this week?
And I don't know, did we go Monday to Sunday for this report, or how did you do it?
We did. We're going back, actually only going back 6 days this week because our last show was on Monday.
Cool. So in that time frame, it's been what we would call relatively flat in change. We're down about $26, about $27 in the Bitcoin price, and that's a change of down about 0.64%.
Yeah, really interesting, actually. So last time that we did the show on Monday, we were pretty deep into the first crash from the initial China ICO ban news. And so Bitcoin was down at, in the low 4,200s.
Yeah.
So now, right now, we're kind of in the midst of another downtrend. And so we've ended up being flat since the last show, essentially.
Right.
Since then, of course, there was a bit that I think Bitcoin would have spiked back to 4,600 or something. So there has been a lot of volatility within the week, but at the end of the week, we basically end up where we started. And it's interestingly basically the exact same story for Ethereum. Ethereum is only down $1.27 from our last show. That's only 0.43% change, almost completely flat.
Right. And it also pretty much followed that trend of the midweek spike.
Yeah, one thing we've noticed is that when Bitcoin is really volatile, like there's a crash or something going on, you get a really strong positive correlation between Bitcoin and ETH prices.
Right.
Even like on the minute-to-minute level. That's kind of crazy, actually. But so usually what you'll see when the market is really dominated by the Bitcoin price, you'll see everything else kind of moving either in unison with it or like kind of in the same direction but with greater volatility.
I love it when you get one that doesn't, though.
Yeah, I know, and then something just breaks free, up 200% in the bear market or something. I love those.
Yep.
So what does that mean for altcoins? We love to take a look at the top 100 altcoins.
As listed by CoinMarketCap.
Of course, yep. Always using that CoinMarketCap data. So I guess what's the deal with altcoins this week? Versus US dollar, we got 58 out of the top 100 made gains.
Yep.
53 out of the top 100 made gains versus Bitcoin.
Nice.
We got the entire overall top 100 gained in value 1.66% over the week.
That sounds a lot better than last week, as I recall.
Yeah, totally. Last week was a bloodbath. Everything essentially, all the altcoins crashed even harder than Bitcoin. Something that we've noticed happens a lot as well. So yeah, it was ugly situation for alts last week. This week they are outperforming Bitcoin by a little bit. To be honest with you, this could be the flattest week that we have seen in the history of since we started tracking. That was quite a few months ago. At this
I can
point.
only remember one other week that we felt like it was even worth calling it flat.
Right, exactly. Alts up 1% versus Bitcoin, up 1.6% versus USD. And those numbers are reflected across the board. Median change, 0.38% versus Bitcoin. Average change, 1.5%. Usually even that average will get pushed up a little bit by some of the big winners, but everyone was just chill this week, I guess, man. People are taking it easy. Maybe people don't know what to do.
Yeah.
This is an uncertain market.
Yeah. Maybe people are just happy with their bags. They got what they need. They sold what they wanted. They bought what they wanted. Now they wait.
Yeah, that could be it.
But in the midst of that, there has been some coins that are moving and grooving.
Always got to have those gainers. Always got to have those losers.
On the gainer side of things, Verge up 53%. Singular DTV up 52%. Civic coming up 45%. C-Coin up 40%. And OmiSco up 39%.
Interesting list of winners here. Most of these remind me of coins that we would have seen on the charts like in January, February. Verge, C-Coin, Civic, pretty recent entry they got on Polo. Obviously, they're feeling the benefit there.
Right.
What do we got on the losers side this week? Metaverse ETP. I do not know what that is, but it's down 72%. Got annihilated. MCAP down 30%. Rise down 27%. They had a huge boost last week. And EmerCoin down 20%. So yeah, that's what's going down with the top 100 there. I'm taking a look at which coins got kicked out of the top 100 and which ones jumped in. Coins that dropped out of the top 100 were Rise, Metaverse ETP, Counterparty, TAAS, Viacoin, and First Blood.
Yep, and moving in was Eternity, Monetha, Cloak Coin, Delta, Vertcoin, and Loopring.
That's it's fun. Counterparty was like, to see Counterparty dropping out of the top 100 is pretty. That's a pretty big change, man. That's a coin that's been in there probably for a long time.
True.
And then to have it get overtaken by Cloak Coin, that's funny. What a world.
The lowest cap coin on that list would have been Vertcoin at 33 mil.
Yep, and that compares to last week was at 26 million. So, small change there. We also like to take a look at some of these custom coin indexes that we've created.
So we've really been enjoying that.
This should be a good week for it, right? Because, as we said before, the macro trends that are happening in the USD markets tend to really color what's going on in the altcoin markets. So, in theory, we should get a better look at what's going on with our indexes this week because there's not a lot of noise. Bitcoin and Ethereum were basically flat.
Well, let's see what we can come up with for the Ethereum token index.
All right, we have an Ethereum token index. We got 44 Ethereum tokens we've lined up here, all the hits, all the big names. We had 27 of them up versus US dollar and 26 up versus Bitcoin, rather, out of the 44.
Okay.
Not bad. Check this out. Index gain, 12.8% versus USD. So that's a huge deviation.
That's a big difference.
One of the biggest deviations that we have seen in week-to-week numbers.
Wow.
That's cool. I wonder if there's an effect here. Last week we had, if these tokens got killed, is specifically hard because of the ICO
That's true.
news. So now that that's softened off of it, we're essentially seeing a kind of an outsized bounce in these Ethereum tokens, I think.
That would make sense.
This is cool, man. I would not have guessed that this would have been the numbers this week. Median change 2.4%, so kind of smaller gains. That usually means to have a small median gain and a big overall change in the value means that some of the higher cap coins in the field made gains.
Right.
Looking at the gainers and losers, we got Singular DTV up 52, Minerium up 52, Civic up 45, Omisco up 39.
So that's 3 overlappers in the top 100
Yeah,
with those gainers. So yeah,
exactly.
You're definitely going to see that those large coin market cap influences. On the loser side, we see EOS down 18%, iExec down 14%, Unity Ingot down 13%, and CoFound It down 12%.
Cool stuff. Nice to see the Ethereum tokens bouncing back this week, kind of disproportionately so far, at least to the other things that we've looked at. We didn't add anything to the index this week. Maybe next week we'll.
Well, it would seem that in the top, since there's such a big overlap in our top 100 winners, that it might stand to reason that some of these coins were helping out the top 100 average as well.
And that's so if the top 100 is flat and the Ethereum coins are overperforming, then you would expect some of the other categories to potentially underperform.
So let's take a look at our next category here.
All right, we got a gaming coins index. This category's been a pretty consistent loser for the past month or two.
Getting hammered.
We only have 11 coins in here, so it's not as statistically sound, I guess, as maybe the Ethereum index. But of those coins this week, 11 coins, we had 4 up versus USD and 5 up versus Bitcoin.
All right, so that's once again lower than our top 100 average.
It's true that number is, but the index, the actual overall index change is up about 1%, which is exactly the same as the top 100.
Interesting.
But despite that, the median is down about 4%. So that means you had 1 or 2 high market cap coins that went up a lot. But the median coin in this category still underperformed this week a little bit.
The largest coin market cap coin in this category was Game Credits, I think, right?
Yeah, and it's up 8%, so that basically kind of pushes the whole index up. No really big losers either, or winners or losers.
No, biggest winner we saw was BitCrystals up 12%, Voxels up 11%, we mentioned Game Credits up 8%, and Nexium up 6%.
Yep. And the losers are mostly small caps, Gold Pieces, Trollcoin, First Blood. First Blood's a big cap, obviously. But alrighty, so that is our gaming coins index. Next on our set of indexes is the Masternode Coin Index. This has been the best performing index in recent weeks.
Although it showed us really big swings in both directions, it would generally still outperform the top 100.
That's true. Highly volatile, but tends to still produce an overall larger average gain, I guess. So what is going down in our Masternode Index this week? We got 25 coins in the list.
Out of those 25, 15 of them are up versus US dollar, as well as 15 of them being up versus Bitcoin.
All right, so that's about in line. Get this, index change versus Bitcoin, 1%. Exactly the same as the top 100 and the gaming coin index.
Wow.
So there is a bit of deviation here in the median. We got a median gain of about 3.8%, which is actually pretty good. So this is kind of the reverse of some of the other indexes that had high cap winners bringing things up. This index must have had one of its higher cap coins, like Dash, maybe was probably down a little bit. I can't see that here on this report, but
right.
So you had something high cap dragging the total gains down, even though the median and the average gains were actually pretty decent this week.
Interesting.
So yeah, that's what's going down with the Masternode coins, but definitely not. They're not standing out this week like they had.
Right. Yeah, it doesn't seems like everything's pretty much been falling in line so far. Except for gaming, which is kind of getting killed, but not on average either.
Yeah.
Interesting. All right. We do have another index to share.
Last index of the week here. It's a user-requested index. It's our Decentralized Data Coins Index.
This one has Made, C-Coin, Storage, Library, Golem, Network Tokens, Sonum, Elastic.
Right.
4 out of 7 of those are up. So that is a smaller sample category, but that is a larger average up.
But let's take a look at this index change versus Bitcoin, up 2%. So basically right in line once again with everything we're seeing in the other categories. Maybe slightly outperforming the top 100.
But not by much.
Only by a 1% difference.
Yeah.
This is really actually one of the most, not only one of the flattest weeks we've seen, one of the most consistently flat weeks we've seen across all of these categories.
Everything's just kind of doing the same thing.
We're all chilling out, I guess. Biggest winner in this category was Sonum. They picked up 48%. The biggest loser was C-Coin. That was down 12%.
So how about overall?
Let's check it out. The game, overall, the whole thing. Alts are at $76.6 billion for total market cap this week. That's up $1.9 billion from last week.
1.9 billion used to seem like it would have been a lot to add to the coin market cap on a week.
Yeah, at the start of the year, that would have been like 20% of the whole deal.
But now it seems like sort of just noisy.
Yeah, it's funny how times have changed. We got Bitcoin dominance this week, 47.5%. That's down 0.8%. So Bitcoin losing a little ground.
Yep. And Ethereum dominance also down. It's down 2.4% to 36%.
That's interesting because that's not really what you would expect based on the price action this week. But I think that enough coins must have gotten added that it dilutes the influence of the bigger coins.
Yep, just more coins getting added to the coin market.
Yeah, exactly. All right, cool stuff. I think that is going to wrap it up for the markets this week. Surprisingly, pretty high volatility week, but at the end of it, not much changed.
Yeah, good week for trading, though.
True that.
Okay. So, let's move on to our dot giveaway.
Sweet. Giving away them dots. Last week, of course, it was 40,000. Somebody won the big jackpot. We're down to just 10K this week. The way it works, we will ask a question. You will send us a tweet to @ChainDynamics with the answer. We need a tweet. Can't be a private message. That's a new rule, so that way everyone can see it. So you'll tweet to @ChainDynamics with your answer to the question. If somebody gets it before the end of the live show, they'll win the dot. So it's only valid for the live show.
That's right. The question this week is, what was the most recent algorithm added to NiceHash?
That's right. NiceHash, of course, it's like a popular hash rental service. And the question is, what is the most recent algorithm that they added to their service?
All right, I know someone's going to get this one, so we'll try to let you know when they do.
We'll keep an eye on the tweets. That's it. And tweet us the answer. You get the 10,000 dot. It's a pretty sweet deal, man. So here's what we're going to do next. We're going to jump into some new coins.
That's right, new coins.
Love them new coins. It's been tough. We've been saying this the past few weeks. It's been tough to get through the new coins.
It has been. You know, it's funny that we ended up with a lengthier list this week than I thought we would, actually, based on our general feeling.
Our sentiment.
Yeah.
And it's true. We also we've been skipping a lot of coins. We have not been covering ICOs lately. We've only been covering those through user requests.
Right.
We're getting a little behind on that. We're going to have to blast through some ICOs here one of these weeks. But at any rate, we got a big list here of coins that have been announced.
So we'll just try to take a quick look at each one. At the top of the list, a coin called Iridium.
Iridium.
I originally labeled this one the Crypto Night Coin of the Week, although I think there's another one in here somewhere.
Yeah, we were blessed with 2 Crypto Night clones this week. So Iridium, this is pretty funny. First off, to get the Crypto Night Coin of the Week right off the bat. That's pretty unusual.
Yeah.
Is there anything else about this one, or is it just kind of the usual back and forth?
The only thing they mention that might be worth saying is that they have a slightly lower total coin supply than your average Crypto Night coin.
Okay.
But, you know, that's not really saying much. Besides that, it looks just like every other Crypto Night coin that's come out every week.
Yeah, it's true, and as we say this every week, but they don't talk about whether they still have the exploit from Bitcoin, which you always have to wonder about. That is Iridium.
So up next is a coin called Swipp Coin.
Swipp. SWIPP.
This is looking like a X11 coin. PowPos.
So they got those new X11 ASICs coming out, right? And then you just see like a flood of X11 shitcoins to match it. I love how that happens.
Yeah.
This is a Masternode thing, so that's also really common with X11 because they're doing forks of like dark code base and stuff like that. But as far as the coin itself, it's a clone with a big pre-mine. That's never what you want. You know, you can justify a pre-mine if it's behind some kind of actual development or purpose, but just a straight clone with a huge pre-mine is always not a great sign.
Right. Not great for much more than practice mining, I would call it.
Yeah, exactly.
Or at certain points, we were so excited that we would mine everything.
Well, these coins, you know, part of the reason so many of these coins come out is just to feed the need that miners have to look for stuff to mine.
For sure.
And so, yeah, if you actually have the hardware, it can be fun to try to mine this stuff because oftentimes you can get a better ROI if it catches market and you time it well.
Right.
But usually that window can be pretty short as well. That is Swipp Coin. All right, next up on the list, Iridium. Deja vu, we talked about Iridium Mirror.
That's right. There were 2 coins with the name Iridium launched in the same week. So that's weird.
Good. That's just funny. Okay, so what's the deal with this Iridium coin?
This one is X11 rather than being CryptoNote. And aside from that, it just looks like a really, once again, normal coin. But it's nice to see it kind of launching with the no ICO thing. I mean, honestly, it's just a little bit refreshing. I think that's why we have a longer list this week, is just simply because there are more mineable looking coins.
Yeah, there's a little bit of blowback because of the ICO controversy last week with the Chinese regulatory ruling. So I guess it's not surprising to see a little bit more proof of work this week. But once again, dude, they got 50% pre-mine on this. Like, how do you take it seriously?
Well, it could work, but
you can give it out for bounties, but those are coins that just end up on the market too. All right, anyway, it's out there. It's Iridium, another X11.
But it's pretty notable that there's 2 coins with the same name.
Yeah, that's funny.
It's weird stuff. Another coin this week is UKCoin.
UKCoin. When Britain leaves the EU, they will have UKCoin. Okay. So it's just the features are just what?
X13. This is a little less popular algorithm for sure.
X13. Okay. Can those ASICs mine X13?
I honestly don't know.
I think they can. I know that the older ones could. The Bicals could mine X13 and X15.
Oh, cool.
So I don't know if the newer generation ones can, but at any rate, it's another X algo coin. That's every coin this week so far, dude. I think this is all coming together.
Just so GPU miners can mine everything. That's always great.
Yeah, but they're going to get owned these days trying to mine any X algo. It's X13. It actually looks really good on paper. It looks like a really old school short proof of work coin with descending rewards, switching into proof of stake.
They got themselves a little roadmap. Some people really like that stuff.
Yep, they got all that stuff. But what they don't tell you about, it's a huge hidden pre-mine, unannounced pre-mine. So
just at least announce it.
If you know, yeah, exactly.
I think you'll get more miners by announcing the pre-mine.
Right, people know how to find them these days.
Next up,
it's no good.
Is a coin called Shaft.
Nice. Shaft. Is it based on the detective?
I sure hope so. But they don't have permission to make pictures yet, so I guess we'll have to wait to find out what kind of pictures show up here.
Oh, man, look at these ASCII graphics. These are sweet, man.
Yeah. So what's going on here? They claim to be mining-oriented. However, once again, there is a big pre-mine, although it's disclosed, I think, in this case.
They say that it is a fork of Ethereum without its flaws. A reliable cryptocurrency. So
that means that this one's algo is going to be Dagger, by the way.
Yes.
Just to keep filling out our algo portfolio for the week.
Get a nice mix here. It is a 15-second block, so a little bit slower than Ethereum. So yeah, it really looks like they just want this to be a coin that people can point their ETH miners at. That seems to be the only thing that they're talking about.
Yep.
Once again, they kind of throw a wrench in it with a huge pre-mine. They just can't. People can't help themselves. Reminds
me again of what I kind of mentioned last week, how when Ethereum switches over to proof of stake, there's going to be a lot of GPUs getting freed up. And so there's going to be, some obvious places for people to point them, but then some less obvious ones too. And I think people are starting to kind of prepare to compete for that hash power in various ways. Yeah, there gets to be really cool dynamics in the market when that happens. We saw it last time when the script ASICs came out and shifted all those GPU miners off onto other algorithms. You get this need for them. The miners will create coins to fill the need for their mining power, and you'll still see a huge drop in profitability. Absolutely. But you'll also see coins that wouldn't otherwise exist that will just kind of pop into place to give people something to mine. And some of them will, they'll get like flash pumps and stuff behind them. It's kind of cool how it ends up working out. And I'm curious to see if, going back to the China ICO ruling, if that triggers another maybe little micro. That combined with all these new X11 ASICs and all this other stuff that's going on. Right. I'm curious to see if it creates like kind of like a micro bubble in some of these different algorithms or even different types of new coin. So that was a little bit about Shaft. Shaft. It's just there to let people mine it, but really you're just upping the value of his pre-mine if that's what you do. Another coin is InnovateCoin. I9C. I9ovate. It's just the word innovate with a 9 jammed into it. So what's the deal with this one? It's a script coin. This one says Zero Coin Protocol in the title, but it literally is just a script coin. So yeah, the gimmick on this one is they want to make you think it's a Zcash clone, but it's actually just a wallet builders or similarly generic copy. So probably not a great option, but it's out there. Alrighty. Another one is Masari. Masari. This is the next crypto note, second crypto note coin of the week. Yeah. But actually, so this is, I've been complaining about this for ages, right? Nobody talks about the Bitcoin thing. Yep. You see it right in there, huh? Yeah, this one's actually, it's a Monero. It's forked off the latest Monero, so you know that it has the exploit fix. Cool. So, once again, it's very hard for us to judge crypto note coins, but I like this one better than some of the previous ones. One thing's for sure, there's a ton of them out there. Yeah, at least one a week. We joke about it all the time. And oftentimes they're sometimes one of the only coins in the week without the ICO and without the pre-mine for some reason. This one's no exception there, I guess, but it seems like that's not even unique this week. So
Yeah, it seems like these crypto night people are a little more old school. You don't really see ICOs and stuff with it.
So that one's called Masari, and that's Kryptonite.
Masari. Next up,
Semux.
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 Semux. Semux? Alrighty, so what's the deal? Semux. They're saying that this is a test net of a new blockchain.
We kind of like that sometimes. It can show that people are working on something before actually releasing it, but it can also kind of just stall the project out in crypto world as well.
I actually like this a lot because the reason that I like a testnet is it's like the best form of pre-announcement, because by having the testnet out there, it essentially proves that the coin is real before it's launched. Usually you're like, oh, somebody posted a pre-an, but anybody can post a pre-an.
Right.
There's no proof that they've developed anything.
True.
So when you get a testnet out there, that's a really good first step. And as far as this coin Semux goes, there's almost no information on it, other than that they're saying it has this delegated BFT consensus algorithm,
which it looks like people are using from the thread posts.
Yeah, there's some very rudimentary screenshots of what looks like a rudimentary Bitcoin wallet, but you can tell it's not the standard wallet. That's always a good sign. So yeah, I think this one's cool. Again, not a lot of info here.
No.
Very preliminary, but as far as preliminary announcements go, there's a lot to like on this one.
Yeah. If you're on the maybe the technical, more experimental side of things, this is probably one to check out for your interest.
Yeah, and it's just a testnet right now, so the time pressure that is normally there isn't there. You can check it out when you want, as long as if you want to participate in the main net, you want to be ready by the time it comes out. But
that name again was Semux, Semux.
Something to look at. Next on the list here, we got LittleOnesCoin.
LittleOnesCoin. This is for all the little ones, I guess.
All the little guys.
It says no big guys.
Get the big guys out.
And what are they? They're basically saying that this is going to be mineable by CPUs.
There's some algorithms out there that can do it, and people already know what they are. But
yeah,
the coin itself is pretty generic.
There's very little information. They just have a GitHub.
I didn't like this one at all upon my first review, but it looks alright this time. It's just a coin that people can mine.
Exactly.
As
what
always,
if you don't have a GPU? Or what if you just stumbled across Bitcoin Talk and you just want to try mining something with your CPU, right?
Yeah, it looks like a fork of Bitcoin Core. Looks pretty basic in that regard. So you have to wonder if the algorithm is even actually different. And as always, you got to run this kind of stuff in virtual machines.
Yeah, it's almost always worth reminding everybody once a show.
Any one of these coins could be a virus.
You really have to take responsibility and be careful.
So that's LittleOnesCoin. It's another mineable kind of basic little coin. That one's a Bitcoin fork.
Up next is BitcoinCashScrypt.
BitcoinCashScrypt. I love when something popular comes out and people just tack other coin terms onto it.
So let's see. What do they got going on here? Is this actually a whole new blockchain?
Yeah, and this coin sucks. It's just a script clone. Does nothing. It's not even based on Bitcoin Cash. It's just like a copy of some generic Litecoin.
Looks like it's got some type of airdrop in the title, but I'm not seeing the details on that either.
It's the gimmick where they do an airdrop, but it's like a huge pre-mine, and the airdrop is for a tiny fraction of it.
All right, so that's BitcoinCashScrypt. Up next is Eddie.
Eddie Coin. Who's Eddie? What's the deal with Eddie?
Well, apparently this is a tribute to Eddie the Head, who is a mascot for Iron Maiden.
Okay.
There's lots of tribute type coins out there, and this will probably make a fine addition to the lineup, but beyond that, I don't think it's going to be much different.
I'm bored of these. I'm bored of this theme. The random person theme. I guess it's not a mascot more than a person, I guess. But
right.
I mean, how are they ever going to top Trump coin?
We'll see.
It's too much. Okay, Eddie Coin, tribute coin to the mascot for Iron Maiden.
Up next, BitcoinZ.
Bitcoins or BitcoinZ? I don't know. BitcoinZ.
It's either Bitcoins with a Z or BitcoinZ.
BitcoinZ, right? That's how most people say
Oh,
it.
yeah, that's nice.
Ticker BTZ. This is an Equihash algorithm. Which is that the Zcash algorithm?
Yes.
Okay. So it's looks like it's a Zcash clone. They say, actually, this is funny. Under tech, they say Z Classic Spirit plus Zcash white paper plus Bitcoin. I don't think that's how white papers work. I don't think you just combine them with other white papers to...
Well, I love the spirit of Z Classic.
It's like if you take two white papers and shuffle them up, do you get a more powerful white paper than you had before? That seems to be the premise here.
I think if the pages end up in the right order, it could turn out pretty good.
Fair enough.
No.
No, I'll buy that. No pre-mine. All right, that's fine. Always proof of work.
So,
Announcement coin.
I would say, once again, this is just another coin to mine. There's so little information.
It's just a plucky little coin that somebody... It is out. This one's mineable. Looks like it is. This one must have just came out. Yeah, this did just come out a few hours ago. All right, the coin there, BitcoinZ. Zcash clone. I like that. I like that aspect of it.
So almost, that's kind of the end of the proof of work coins for the week, and it seems like almost any algo you want to mine, you could pretty much pick up a new coin this week.
Yeah, it's true. We had an Ethereum clone. We had I don't know if it's a Zcash or a different one of the Z coins, but a zero coin clone. A bunch of X11 stuff. Good little mix.
Interesting stuff.
A lot of big old pre-mines, but a few no pre-mines. Not bad.
All right.
In the airdrop category this week, we had Morningstar. So this is just an airdrop that's out there, but it's the same thing that I said before, where they will have a really big pre-mine, and then the airdrop won't be a large percentage of it, so it ends up just being a de facto ICO or something where they're just dumping them on the market. That's the case with MorningStar Coin.
That's right.
And the airdrop's already over. Too late.
By the way, we did have a winner in the contest.
Oh, sweet.
I just didn't want to interrupt a few minutes ago.
Alrighty, the question on the contest there was...
The question was, what was the most recent algorithm added to NiceHash? The answer was skunk. The first person to get it right said snuck, but I think we know what they meant, right?
Close enough. Well, I'll give it to him.
Okay.
One character off. I think that's close. So the algorithm was skunk hash. That's the algorithm for Signatum, I think.
Right. That was really popular mining when it came out.
True.
So popular that they pretty much added that hash algorithm for it.
Okay, cool. All right, so back to new coins. The next coin, we're in the airdrop category. The next coin is HOWL. Howlin'.
HOWL coin, like a wolf.
Gotta howl.
And this is an Ethereum token airdrop. So basically you would go to the thread and contact this guy with an Ethereum address, and he would give you the coins. He says you can either contact him through Gmail or through Bitcoin Talk. I would totally go with Bitcoin Talk, personally.
Both, man. Do whatever you can get away with if you're doing an airdrop.
He has a little bit of a flaw in this one because he says to just give him your Ethereum address and a link to your Bitcoin Talk profile. That's a reason that you should definitely do it through Bitcoin Talk, because if you do it through email, somebody can just link you to any Bitcoin Talk profile that they want.
Oh, right. That's funny.
So there's kind of a problem here. But
maybe he's got better validation than we know.
Yep.
Maybe he doesn't. Even if airdrops can be played a little bit, it's still a little bit kind of, I think that's okay to some extent. Decred, obviously, is kind of the gold standard for all airdrops. Then or since. And they did it with, you had to have some kind of, they did it, based on Bitcoin Talk account rank and Twitter history and that kind of stuff. But people could still game it, obviously.
But, it's still free tokens are free tokens, and so we just like to let you know about some airdrops out there. Yeah,
and going back to airdrops, I was complaining earlier about people, pre-mining a ton and only airdropping out a little bit. On HOWL, they did 64 million tokens that they created. 56 million is what they're giving away. 8 million is what they're keeping. That's closer to the ratio that I want to see. It still means they have 8 million coins to dump on the market if they get bored. But
one thing that's nice about this airdrop too, compared to maybe some others, is you don't need a separate wallet for it. So the risk maybe is only supplying whatever kind of information you do as far as receiving the airdrop.
Yeah, your virus exposure is less, just your personal.
So I kind of like that. I kind of like that as an idea.
Okay, cool stuff. That coin there was HOWL, an Ethereum token that somebody's giving away. The problem with airdrops like this is when it's just a token, it becomes like those Waves tokens where anybody could do it, and there's not really a lot of evidence that they're going to put any effort into making anything cool from it.
Right.
But it's out there. So our next category that was the end of the airdrops. Next up is the relaunch, re-announcement, pre-announcement, and other category.
We got a pre-announcement for a Crypto Night coin here, huh?
We got a couple...
SaunaCoin.
Yeah.
Well, you know I love saunas.
Okay.
So that must be why this one's on this list.
Yeah, SaunaCoin. It's a really good post. No, it's literally just like some coin specs, and then it's a countdown that says it's 32 days away. That's tough. That's tough distance to keep track of. And it's pretty unlikely that they'll actually launch this. That's what we always find with stuff like this.
Should we try to find out if this one launches?
Hell yeah. Why
Cool.
not? It's fun. We'll keep up with it. Put it in a list or something.
All right.
Semux was also a pre-announcement. We had it in the wrong category, but that is going to be it for the relaunch category, or the re-announcement, pre-announcement, other category.
All right. And that actually does it for the new coins as well.
That does. It wraps it up on new coins, man. What do you think? What do you see in here?
Well, like I said, I was kind of excited that we ended up with such a long list because we're trying to be pretty discerning as far as not putting everything on here.
Yeah, we skip a lot.
And there's quite a few coins that are mineable on here, I guess. I mean, not necessarily profitably, but coins to try out, right?
Right. There's things that you could theoretically mine. That is a nice departure from what we had seen, especially the last couple of weeks.
I really don't understand why there's 2 Iridium coins.
Yeah, that's an unusual collision of ideas. Maybe it's like a bot that just copied, looks for other announcements and copies them and inserts its own shit.
I saw the dev from the first Iridium coin post in the second Iridium thread, like, "Oh, isn't this a coincidence? You made a coin called Iridium as well." Okay,
that's funny.
You guys are weird.
I didn't like either of the Iridiums.
Mm-hmm.
Semux, I think it is definitely worth checking out if you like messing around with test nets.
Yeah, I like the test net.
Masari actually looks better than the average Crypto Night clone. Other than that, I think HOWL, I guess, if you want some free worthless tokens.
Yeah. Yep.
All right, cool stuff. Love those new coins. Next, we're going to jump into some listings, see what got listed this week.
All right. What did get listed this week?
We've got a big listing this week with Civic at Poloniex.
Poloniex throwing up a listing.
They're getting back into the game. Poloniex listings don't have the impact that they used to. Bottom line, most of the volume is on Bittrex now, and so kind of there used to be like a frenzy when Poloniex would add something because they had like 95% of the volume. That is no longer the case. It still did get a boost though. It wasn't like insignificant, but there still was. Instantly after the announcement, there was a pretty big
it was
price
on
rise.
I think it was on the top 100 gainers list. There.
Yeah, they're like
45%. That's pretty good.
So yeah, actually, when you think about it, that's for an exchange that isn't even the highest volume exchange. That's kind of impressive. And it's you can't say the rise was just because of Poloniex, but
no,
definitely did have an effect.
Over on C-Cex, they listed Bitcore and VSync. Seems like VSync's been getting listed and swapped around forever.
Just different
Can't
VSyncs
keep track
or
of that
whatever.
coin at all.
I don't trust it. It's funny that I didn't know you're still keeping up on C-Cex. That's funny.
Yeah, it's an easy one to keep track of, actually.
Novaexchange, plucky pals over at Novaexchange. They added Dreamcoin Club, ParisCoin, NetM, Litecoin Plus, New Shares, and Ulatech.
That's right. On Livecoin, they listed Macro, Rialto, MobileGo, and Centra.
On CoinExchange.io, they added that UKCoin, HOPEcoin, ParisCoin, Bitqui, Cloud, DentaCoin, Digital Price, Magnatum, AdShares, iQuant, and Danaton.
And then over on Liqui, they added Eternity.
Eternity. It's already in the top 100, so that shows you how those tokens are still doing all right, I guess.
All right, so as far as listings, looking back through, I'm noticing that Magnatum got listed, which was a mineable coin, I think, last week, right?
The Signatum clone. Yeah, it was mineable, but it's the same. Yes, it's mineable, but does it also have huge pre-mine? I think it was one that did. I don't remember exactly, but
it got listed.
But yeah, that stands out most to me of any of
And
them.
then UKCoin we
from
just
this
saw
week,
got
yeah.
announced this week.
Mobile Go on Livecoin, that might be a bit of news. And Civic, I guess, obviously.
Civic's definitely the big actual volume one here.
Eternity on Liqui could be kind of the sleeping giant. I don't know anything about the project,
But anyway, that's the listings.
Ready? Yep, that is it. And normally we do our coin birthdays next, but we didn't have any for this week.
Nope, not finding any. Let us know if your favorite coin is having a birthday.
It's true. And without that, I guess that will be it here at Blockchain Dynamics for show number 78.
Show 78.
Really weird week in crypto, man. I'm excited to see what happens next.
This week felt really fast to me. Like I was just kind of, maybe I was busy, but I don't know, it went fast, man.
Well, it was literally fast for us, too, because it was only 6 days from
Maybe
our
that
last
was
show.
it. Enjoyable, though. Another amazing week.
Good stuff, yeah, man. It never gets old. Game don't quit. That's one thing that I have learned. We are brought to y'all by Cryptopia.co.nz. Check them out. Great altcoin platform. One of the good places to catch early coins before they, make it out into the wider world.
Definitely.
And also a good place to trade some older coins that don't have a home on the bigger volume exchanges.
Yep, and if you head over to the forums there, check out the altcoin section. We've got a sticky thread at the top, Blockchain Dynamics. Good way to say hi. You could also send yourself over to blockchaindynamics.net.
Yeah, you can find the latest episode up over there. Contact info if you want to contact us. Love it when people send us messages.
This was Blockchain Dynamics, episode number 78 on Error by Trial Radio. And we'll see you next week with way heavier bags.
Peace.
Currency.
Like a couple Bitcoins.
Money,
Pull up on my Nakamoto.